What kind of effect has social media had on the tweens and teens of the emerging 21st century? According to Forbes, the Common Sense Census Media Used by Tweens and Teens study revealed American teenagers 13 to 18 years old average about 9 hours of entertainment media use. Tweens 8 to 12 years old use an average of about 6 hours worth of entertainment media daily. There is an increasingly diverse makeup of roughly 42 million teenagers in America, and their warped political viewpoints are a result of being subjected to an emerging culture that censors all political viewpoints save those from the left. Aside from the brainwashing, those teenagers that disagree with the left are facing forced unemployment, doxxing, and mental isolation. As obvious as this is, it's incredibly serious business. Once upon a time in America, before Silicon Valley created what became an overwhelming Orwellian digital public square, Americans were left to form their own political opinions, which in turn generated political debates that centered around a political party's platform that offered solutions to complex issues. Nowadays, the platform itself is under attack.
I don't know what he said specifically.
Okay. Do you know any quotes or anything?
I don't know what he said specifically. I just don't agree with his platform.
For example, can we have a discussion about our catastrophic immigration situation without it devolving into threats of racism and xenophobia? Apparently not.
I try and talk to these guys as much as possible. I say, hey, let's have a discussion. Some of the gentlemen we were talking to, that at the protest, we were like, hey, what's going on? Why don't we talk about this? And every single time I say something, they just come back with a chant.
No borders, no nations. Stop the deportation. No borders, no nations.
No borders, no nations.
Stop the deportation.
No interview.
The Blade reported conservative and Australian immigrant Nick Adams, founder and executive director of the Texas-based nonprofit Foundation for Liberty and American Greatness, is an author and political commentator who speaks to junior and senior high school students, as well as 4th through 6th graders. Some parents in the district Mr. Adams recently appeared in said his speech was inappropriate because of his history of what they described as racist, xenophobic, and inflammatory commentary, claiming the negative feedback we have received has not been about Mr. Adams' message, but about the views he has at times espoused in articles and interviews. Mr. Adams is simply attempting, like a modern-day Johnny Appleseed, to sow the seeds of civic comprehension to a deficient generation. But there is a pushback to that civic knowledge. Sarah Anjum said her family is Muslim, and 4 of her 5 children attended the school where Mr. Adams spoke. The 3 children who heard Mr. Adams speak immediately began telling her of their concerns when she returned home. Ms. Anjum said, "My high schoolers described the talk as paternalistic, nationalist, and xenophobic." There's that word, nationalist, which is the bane of the globalist existence. Mr. Adams replied, "It's a shame that things have become so polarized in America that simply promoting patriotism is now viewed as a partisan issue. There should be nothing controversial about defending our flag and a discussion of why, on the eve of Veterans Day, countless men and women in our armed forces have sacrificed for it." Meanwhile, even though addiction to the tube has slowly declined since the 1990s, 72% of Americans agree network media is dividing Americans. And as Silicon Valley's digital gulag grows, imprisoning independent media sites exercising a critically wounded First Amendment, our do-nothing Congress is dooming America's future generation to an Orwellian nightmare that could be swiftly and inevitably avoided if American civil liberties are going to survive. John Bowne reporting.